Tonight on Year to Date, Last Man Standing, President Vidulich stops by.
Commodore Zankel touts the sailing team.
And Elliot Lackey joins the conversation in a word from our sponsors.
Year to Date starts now.
Joe Vidulich isn't your average guy. Spring of sophomore year, he ran for student government president. He lost that race, but his junior year, he started the AU Blue Crew, which brought a new excitement to sporting events. His leadership of the Blue Crew led to another run for president, and this time he came out victorious. But it came during an election that showed low turnout and many people running unopposed. The Vidulich administration seemed to begin with a new flavor. Among other things, he helped expand places where we can use Eagle Bucks. But only a couple of months into the school year, the secretary of the student government, Alex Manzanares, resigned due to his perceived cronyism in the student government. That was debatable to some until he appointed and the Senate confirmed Caitlin Douglas, one of Vidulich's close staff members. Only a couple of weeks ago, Vice President Jeff Hanley and Comptroller David Teslico resigned, and there are now fears that President Vidulich will appoint another close aide. But Vidulich has tried to stay away from all the criticisms, which has led to his authoring of a constitutional amendment that would take the appointment of a new comptroller and secretary out of the hands of the president and put it into the hands of the students. With more on this tonight, we welcome Student Government President Joe Vidulich. President Vidulich, thanks for joining us.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
First off, what has your experience been as president, in the student government?
It's a really taxing job. I understand why a lot of my predecessors couldn't get a lot of things done. I think this year we've done a lot already, and we're going to be planning to do a lot more. It's working with a lot of people you wouldn't think about working with. I'm having a meeting with Mayor Fenty soon to talk about how we can get a student discount rate if he's going to continue to raise rates. It's meeting with Board of Trustees members and actually trying to get something done, which is something that students really haven't come to expect from their student government. So I want to change that perception around.
Right. So what does the typical day of the president look like?
Usually he doesn't skip class. Sadly, that's a reality, though.
Right.
It's making sure that the student's business gets done. I think that a lot of times people in student government think it's their way or the highway.
Right.
And what I wanted to do this year was to actually say, well, before we make a decision on what's going on, what do students think actually need to get done?
Right.
For example, some senators are proposing a bill to ban smoking on the campus. I said that I won't sign any bill until we actually have a student forum to see where smoking is.
Right.
Because there's a lot of issues involved, there's a lot of different perceptions and different opinions out there, and I want to make sure we get it right before we do anything.
Right.
So it's really soliciting a lot of feedback, working with some great senators, and working with a lot of different administrators who at the end of the day really want to get the same thing done. It's just making sure that they remember who they're working for every day.
Right. Gosh, I think we have like a month left in the semester, so we're about halfway through the year. So what has your administration done that has made you proud right now?
A lot of different things. First of all, regarding to programming, I thought that if we were going to do anything, it has to be stuff that grandeur. It has to be stuff that resonates with students. It makes it the most memorable SG experience that they could have. So having people from Valerie, Plame, having bands that we're going to have in the spring that I can't even talk to you guys about right now, but also working on the policy things.
Right.
Expanded hours at the health center is going to come to fruition next semester. A women's resource center that gets the ball rolling on addressing women's needs and particular needs around sexual assault on the campus. Expanded Eagle Bucks options, pushing for a student's bill of rights, something that's long overdue on in this very progressive campus, all makes me very proud. The fact that we're going to have syllabus online on course registration next semester is going to be a great addition. The fact that we're working with the faculty to actually increase adoptions of textbooks have led to a 20% decline in textbook prices this semester. I'm really proud, but I don't want to get caught up in how proud I am of myself and my staff. It's really making sure that we can continue this momentum and setting the bar high for future student governments.
Changing gears a little bit, I mean, the past couple shows we had Eagle editor Lauren Gardner and Daily Jolt moderator Pat McGill on the show. What role do they play in student government and the student community?
It's another perspective. They speak for different niches on campus. The Eagle editorial board speaks for what they talk about and the issues that they care about. Pat McGill in the Daily Jolt speaks for a lot of things that the Daily Jolt cares about. It's about finding a happy medium there and what's an actual average student cares about. And though I think, for example, one of the things that the Eagle criticized for was the process, how we appoint the new secretary. I don't think average students cared about that, so I didn't make it a top priority going forward. Now we're addressing it now in this constitutional amendment I'm putting forward with Senator Ashton. But I think at the end of the day, students just care about affordable things at the Eagle's Nest, cheap textbooks, big shows, big names, making sure that this year is a great year.